Hi everyone, and welcome to our Faster Way to Fat Loss training, Break Free from Sugar and Shed Stubborn Belly Fat. My name is Amanda Tress. I'm the founder and CEO of The Faster Way, and today I'm so thrilled to be with my friend Dr. Haley Todsen. You are the founder of Optimized Integrative Health, in addition to an emergency
medicine physician.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I want you guys to use the chat feature as you're joining this free training and tell me your favorite sugary treat. I want to hear your favorite sugary treat. Is it a pie? Is it ice cream? Is it a donut? I want to hear your favorite sugary treat. Dr. Todsen, what is your favorite sugary treat?
I have to say Reese's peanut butter
Ooh,
cup.
we happen to have one in front of us.
What about you?
Okay, so donuts.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's actually funny because recently I shared in a training that I have been on the hunt for an old-fashioned glazed donut for over a month, and I'm proud to say that I was able to secure one this past weekend. I'm not kidding you. I was looking for over a month. I would get to a donut shop, they'd be sold out. I even called ahead to a donut shop and told them to put some in a bag for me.
Oh, no.
I brought the bag home, hadn't checked it at the shop, got it home. They put the wrong donuts in the bag, and by the time I got back, so anyway, it's been a whole thing.
Did you call and tell him?
I absolutely did, yes. He goes, how mad are you at me? I go, very mad. So anyway, I love donuts, and I often say I don't have a sweet tooth. I have sweet teeth, and you and I have talked a little bit about my personality and how I am a little all or nothing, and I can't just do like one bite of the donut. I gotta do like 3 donuts, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Right.
We are going to discuss really the negative impacts of sugar on our health, and I think a lot of us, we know, we hear, but yet we're not necessarily reviewing or reflecting on those negative impacts on a regular basis. And I'll speak for my VIP community. We do have tens of thousands of clients going through a sugar detox this week. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be oh so worth it. And we also have thousands of people on this training or catching the replay who are also going to consider doing a bit of a detox as you go through this week. And if you are new to the Faster Way, not yet a member, we will have a surprise for you at the end, a little guide, a free guide that we're going to give you with a meal plan and some additional tips. But Haley, let's discuss some of these negative impacts of sugar on our health. Today we're going to specifically be discussing how to burn some belly fat, so we'll kind of get to that. But you know, in your opinion, what is one of the biggest negative impacts that sugar has on the world population?
Well, it's actually obesity, right?
Yeah.
So sugar causes obesity, which causes chronic disease, heart disease, diabetes. It causes so many other things. So, it causes obesity.
Yeah. And at the Faster Way to Fat Loss, we are focused on fat loss, but also weight loss in general. And we say we share a common enemy at the Faster Way, and it is obesity. Like,
Absolutely.
we want to end the obesity epidemic. And unfortunately, truly, sugar is such a big component of this obesity epidemic. And it's something that we don't even always quite totally understand.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, fat loss and weight loss is all about, you guys, the insulin response. And when we are consistently consuming sugar, specifically processed sugars, that's really 100%. What we're zeroing in on is these processed sugars. I'm not necessarily talking about, fruit as much. We could kind of go into detail on that later and some of the natural sugars, but processed sugars, fat loss, weight loss, it's all about the insulin response. And if we are consistently spiking that insulin, we are unable to lose weight. In fact, we're storing fat. And many of us women, we're first storing fat around our midsection.
Right.
So let's talk about sugar and how it can be linked to cancer. And this is a little controversial. We're just going there, Haley, Dr. Todsen. We're just going there. You also maybe even have a personal experience, with cancer in your family that you can share as well. But talk with us about how sugar in particular is linked to cancer.
Yeah, so actually there's new research that shows that sugar can be related to cancer. And it's kind of a roundabout way, right? So sugar causes weight gain, it causes visceral fat.
Yeah, visceral
and
fat.
so that visceral fat is actually active It causes inflammation throughout the body. You can actually measure inflammatory markers in your blood when you do a functional panel. And these markers actually mess with your hormones, right? And so we know that there are many types of cancer that have been linked to these inflammatory markers from sugar and obesity and weight gain.
Yeah. You have a personal experience in your immediate family with cancer.
I do.
You and I both have friends and colleagues who even now are going through cancer. What is one of the very first things that doctors often tell people who are going through cancer when it comes to diet?
Right, yeah. So if you go to one of the big cancer centers, they'll tell you basically to eliminate sugar because you're feeding the cancer cells.
Yeah.
So eliminating sugar is the first thing that you can do. It has so many benefits. It's empty calories. So reaching for that sugary drink or that sugary treat, just think about what it's actually doing to your body, right? You get that huge hit of dopamine, that high, and then you're followed by that crash. And so it leaves your body wanting more and more. You know, you don't just eat one potato chip, you eat a whole bag. So this is empty calories causing weight gain, causing adipose tissue. So that's how people become obese, right? It's that cycle that's never ending.
And food can either help our bodies heal or food can contribute to disease, and sugar's that number one culprit. And you're right, you have experience in your family with cancer. We know colleagues, and when they do go to a cancer center, the very first tip is eliminate sugar.
Exactly.
Eliminate processed foods. Eliminate the sodas and the candies. And it can be hard to do, especially when you're going through a stressful situation. What you want to do is grab some comfort food. Yeah, but I think, that's a really interesting component. And I love scrolling Instagram and seeing motivational quotes, and one that really struck me recently was, you would die for your children, but would you live for them? And it was a motivational quote by a gentleman who's recently lost 100 pounds, and he eliminated sugar and processed food, and he's just thriving and so thrilled to be alive for his kiddos. And recently I shared in a workout with the hurricanes that we've dealt with in our area, we had the privilege of preparation. And we can link that to our health. We were able to prepare for these hurricanes. We were able to get our houses boarded up, to evacuate. With our health, we do right now have the privilege of preparation, and we need to act as if, what would you do if you knew that there's a cancer diagnosis coming down the pike in 10 years or 20 years? What would you do now? One thing that we would do is eliminate sugar. I mean, it is absolutely key. It's probably the most important key when it comes to losing weight to get to a healthy level, and then also preventing disease and addressing those cancer cells in your body.
100%. So even think about your fasting glucose, right? We don't want it to be 100 or greater. That's too late. Yes, you can make changes at that time, but you can actually see it years and years in advance. So if you knew that, what would you choose? Would you choose to continue on the same path of eating these high sugar diets that is overworking your pancreas to then make you insulin resistant to lead to diabetes? And so that's something that you really should think about, because that's processed foods, that's high sugar foods, that's actually causing that, one of the chronic diseases in the US, right?
Yeah. So we've spoken just a little bit about sugar and the impact on weight gain, or the inability to lose weight and burn fat when you're consuming a lot of sugar. We've spoken a little bit about how sugar intake can be linked to risk of cancer. I want to discuss skin. Okay, I'm a female in my late 30s. I'm very into kind of, my skin and being sure that I'm doing the right things. Preventatively, and different treatments and different things, just to be sure that I'm aging gracefully. There's nothing wrong with aging, but I want to age gracefully. And I truly see a difference when I am consuming a lot of sugar and processed foods versus only whole foods. So let's talk about that link to the skin.
Yeah, so we know that sugar actually attaches to the proteins of elastin and collagen. Well, what does elastin and collagen do, right? It makes our skin youthful and firm. So it attaches to these proteins and actually causes saggy skin and wrinkles.
No.
I I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So again, we're doing a little detox with my VIP community.
Yes.
And it's not easy. It's actually hard for me because I love sugar. Well, the last time we did a sugar detox, by day 4, I was like super hangry, still had the headache, craving donuts like you wouldn't believe. But then by day 5 and day 6, I was like, oh my gosh. I woke up and my skin was absolutely glowing, looked not a single blemish. And I was even getting comments from people on Instagram and at the office like, oh my, what did you do? Did you just have like a treatment? And I'm like, I didn't have a laser treatment. Like, this is just me, how I look. Like, even today, I'm a little puffy and I have like just a couple of things I had to cover up because I was at a Taylor Swift concert over the weekend. It was a great little girls' weekend with my daughters, but I indulged. We brought a huge box of donuts with us on the plane. I had treats when I was at the concert, little cake pops and different. And it's like, I can feel it today. Like, my eyes are a little puffy, but it's the sugar. That's what it is.
It is.
So just the skin benefits alone, ladies. The men are listening too. Men, we got you. We know you want nice skin as well. But that's really interesting. So sugar attaches to the proteins and the collagen and so forth and just...
Right, and damages them.
Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, let's touch on prediabetes a little bit and diabetes. This is something that runs rampant in my family. We have many, many thousands of clients who come into the Faster Way who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, right. Specifically type 2. We know sugar causes this. You know this, I know this. Honestly, guys, you know this too. But let's talk a little bit about the how.
Yeah.
If we are dealing with a pre-diabetes type situation, what is one step, what's kind of that first tip that you would have for those of us struggling?
So the first tip is basically pick low glycemic foods, right? So eliminate the processed foods. Mm-hmm. Eliminate the wrong type of carbs and really reach for the whole foods, the low glycemic fruits and vegetables. The whole point is that sugar stimulates the pancreas to release insulin to basically break down the glucose. And then when you eat so much sugar, you overwork the pancreas to where then, like we talked about, you get insulin resistance and it no longer works anymore. Yep. So you have these high levels of glucose that can't be broken down. And then you get the visceral fat that becomes inflammatory, and it's just a horrible cycle that then leads to diabetes.
Yeah. So you might not even know this. When I was in high school, I was an athlete, but I ate terrible. Horrendous. My 2 older sisters were not great with the food logs either, and we were at fast food all the time with sports, lots of just kind of grab and go for school lunches. And by 17 years old, I was a mess. I was on blood pressure medication because my blood pressure was through the roof. It was like 170 over 110, even on medication. But I was also prescribed metformin, which I decided not to take because I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm 17, I'm active, like I should be able to kind of figure this out. So at that time, I did a complete 180, entered college, started educating myself regarding nutrition, but so much of my story comes back to the sugar intake. And what a lot of people don't realize is, I was going into the McDonald's drive-thru all the time and Burger King, and even the McDonald's hamburger bun is just full of sugar because these companies, like, genuinely, they want you to be addicted to their food. And I was addicted to junk food. Addicted, right, because of the sugar. And it was like Sprite, I'm like almost salivating just thinking about it. But it was like the McDonald's Big Mac, the McDonald's Sprite, just like gross food all the time. No wonder I had high blood pressure. I'm so grateful for kind of that low point in my life because it helped me create, what we have now with Faster Way. But there is sugar in so many foods. And one thing, again, I kind of tease this a little bit, but if you are not part of the Faster Way yet, we do have a guide for you to download, and we're going to share some different sneaky ways that sugar can enter into the nutrition label that you might not even know, because there are different words for sugar that don't say sugar. Okay, right. There's like so many different. So we're gonna add that in the guide, and if you're a VIP member, in your detox guide, you have that as well. But man, so many people struggle with prediabetes and diabetes because of sugar. So choosing the more low glycemic foods, I think, is a really good
berries,
tip.
Right?
Yeah.
So choose berries instead of mango.
Because yes, okay. Well, okay. So we've talked a little bit about kind of the dangers of sugar, and we've made everybody depressed. But now we're going to talk about how to kind of pull ourselves out of this sugar addiction, or be sure that we are not dealing with those insulin spikes. And you and I were kind of joking because I'm like, this week, there's certain things like the peanut butter cups. I have a peanut butter cup after every lunch and dinner for closure because I just love a little. It's dark chocolate. It's got it's a little, just so good. But I'm going to not do the peanut butter cups this week. And I said to you, the other thing I'm not going to do is the mango slices, because I do the dried mango slices. And it's amazing when you turn over the label. First of all, there's a lot of added sugars in many of these different brands for the mango slices. And it's spiking my insulin. And I can't just have 3 mango slices. I want 27. That's just how I am. So let me share a little bit about kind of my strategy this week, as I am really wanting to eliminate sugar and sugar cravings, feel the benefits of whole food nutrition, and then also feel in control as we look toward Halloween and the holidays. Because if I don't get myself under control right now, it's going to be a tough few months. So I'll kind of share my perspective, and then you'll share your perspective, which might be a little bit different. I'm an all or nothing girl, okay? I think I have like a lower level of dopamine than some, so I tend to be like a little bit obsessive compulsive. It's just my personal chemistry, I suppose. So I understand this about myself. I am not going to say, oh yeah, instead of 2 of these, I'll have 1 of these. That would never work for me. I have to go cold turkey. Okay, some of you guys are in the same boat. You're like, yep, same way. I have to go cold turkey. So what I'm going to do this week with my Fast Away to Fat Loss VIP community is I'm going to follow our meal plan to a T, because it has delicious recipes, whole food nutrition. We're also flooding our bodies with micronutrients from vegetables, which I think is key as we kind of shift our cravings. But I am the kind, too, that I just have to get it out of my house. I almost wore black today because it's like a funeral for the sugary treats in my pantry. It's got to be out of the house. It can't be because otherwise I'm going to stand in the pantry later today and like look around and try to grab the healthy and instead grab the sweet. So that's my perspective, all or nothing. Again, if you are not part of the Fast Away community, we're going to put in the chat feature a link, fastawaytofatloss.com/guide/sugar detox, so that you can download a guide and follow along with us, a little sample meal plan, and get some more detailed, comprehensive information about sugar's impact on our health. But again, that is kind of my perspective. That's my strategy. What is your perspective when it comes to transitioning away from the sugary treats and the processed foods?
So I like to meet people where they are. So I ask you to make a change, whatever that might be. Is it a drastic change because that is, what you need? Then absolutely. But I usually ask for 80-20. So give me 80% of your week that you can hone in on whole foods, good nutrition, exercise, and then 20% that, okay, maybe you can have that treat, because then your body will not see it so much as sugar every day and the insulin spikes, right? Because we have good health and protein and exercise around it and good fiber, right? So I ask for 80-20 and then kind of meet someone where they are, right? Just like if they eat fast food every day, right? I ask them to cut it out. Maybe you can go once a week, right? And then eventually cut that out. So kind of just meeting them where they are and asking for an 80-20 commitment.
You are very busy working in the hospital, working your business. I am extremely busy. Fast food is easier, but
Correct.
What do you do in regard to meal prep, and how do you set yourself up for success through the week?
Yeah, so you do have to meal prep or know exactly where you can go. And then eat your protein first and your fiber and your good vegetables, right? So that's really what you should be eating at every meal. Get the right amount of protein. Your program is amazing. It has everything set up for you, so you don't have to think about it, right? So meal prep, honestly, it's not easy, but that is what's going to save you.
And I feel like there are more options now than 25 years ago. When I was in high school, the options were limited when it came to the more healthy fast food. We were in Miami this past weekend, and one of our meals, we were able to go to a pretty healthy fast food location. So I think that definitely works in our favor, but much of this is a choice. It's a motivation. It becomes a discipline to say, I'm going to fuel my body with the foods that are going to optimize my metabolism and help me heal and function well, versus the foods that are going to negatively impact so many aspects of my life. One thing that we didn't discuss yet is brain health. Brain health is a very hot topic these days.
It is.
How does sugar impact our brain health?
So we eat sugar, we get these high cravings, right? We get these sugar highs, and then that's followed by a sugar low. Well, guess what that leads to? Mood disturbances. It leads to depression when we get those lows, and it leads to anxiety when we get those sugar highs, leading us to want more and more. There's actually research that shows that sugar is related to dementia later in life.
Yes.
So again, it's like setting ourselves up for our future, for longevity, right? So things we do now are actually impacting the way our life is going to turn out.
Yeah.
And that's so important to know.
So this is a very popular area of research right now. They are actually calling dementia and Alzheimer's, they meaning doctors and researchers, type 3 diabetes. Okay, so we have type 1, which many times people are born with, and it's a little bit more extreme from the standpoint of insulin dysregulation. Type 2, many people develop type 2 over time. I have family members who have had or currently dealing with type 2. I, again, was prescribed metformin myself in high school and was kind of borderline pre-diabetic. The faster way I created almost as like a pre-diabetic diet, but now many physicians and researchers are calling dementia and Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes because dementia and Alzheimer's feed off of sugar. And I will say one of the most frustrating things in my life is when I see loved ones having memory issues and dealing with some, and then I look at their diet and I say, oh, Grandpa, please stop with the Little Debbie's and, all the sugary treats and even the breads and, again, processed foods that maybe it looks on the outside like it says Nature's Valley, but when you turn it over, it's a lot of added sugars because that's just feeding into these different diseases of the brain, and it's so, so sad.
It is. Absolutely. You're right.
Yeah, one of the first things that many doctors will recommend for people dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's is more of even a keto diet.
Correct.
Which is an extreme low carb, because when we consume carbs, the carbs turn into glucose and stored as glycogen in our muscles. If we don't have a lot of muscle because we haven't been lifting heavy for the past 20 years, and there's not as much place to store that glycogen. So it is interesting that many times people with the dementia and Alzheimer's are being recommended to do the keto.
Right. No, that's very true.
Yeah.
And even think about how your body feels when you eat a whole food diet with the right fiber and the right carbs. I mean, just how you feel versus when you eat that Big Mac. You're sluggish, you're tired, you want to take a nap. So just listen to your body, and your body tells you what you should be doing.
Yeah. Sugar can cause weight gain. Sugar can cause a very difficult time burning fat, specifically around the midsection. Sugar can be linked to cancer and other diseases like diabetes, even dementia. Sugar can cause issues with looking older than we are. None of us here, female or male, want to look older than we are. So I think we're all on the same page. It's important that we do eliminate these sugar cravings. It's important that we do focus on whole food. The how can be hard. Okay, it's not easy. We've got to find that motivation and then create discipline around this. You can, again, in the chat feature, look, because we're dropping a link right now. If you're not part of the Faster Way, go ahead and download the free guide with a meal plan with a little bit more comprehensive information about how sugar impacts the body. If you're a VIP member, do the detox alongside of us. Follow the meal plan to a T. I promise you, by Friday, Saturday, you are gonna feel awesome. Your skin is gonna be glowing. A couple things to expect just real quick. You might have a bit of a headache day 2, 3, 4, okay? Because your body is detoxing. Be sure that you are having an electrolyte hydration drink that will help the headache. Our Faster Way electrolyte hydration product is phenomenal. It's not sweet, it's salty, which I think is great as we eliminate sugar. So that'll be really, really good for you. Be sure that you're eating enough of the right foods. The worst thing is to go to bed not only craving sugary treats, but also hungry. Just fill up with good foods. Even if you have to increase the portion sizes from the sample meal plan, that is A-okay, so long as it's whole food nutrition. Have some extra vegetables. Even, Wednesday, Thursday, have a potato. That type of thing is great. So fill up on the good foods. Drink lots and lots and lots and lots of water, herbal teas, black coffees. Let's just detoxify our bodies. Any final tips that you have for people who are considering how to eliminate sugar and just really thrive through life?
Yeah, I think, again, just listen to your body. The whole foods really are all you need with the right carbs. Just think about anything that you eat goes to your liver and is made into fat. And so what do you want in your body? Do you want fat, visceral fat, or do you want muscle and good cognition and longevity?
Yeah. Best wishes as you eliminate sugar this week. We hope you enjoy this training. Where can we find you online?
OptimizeTampaBay.com.
Okay, OptimizeTampaBay.com. Thank you, Dr. Todsen. We truly appreciate your time. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Bye.
you.